Finding your voice. Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, beautiful wife, Brooke. And now, on to our topic. Finding your voice. Let me start by saying I am not a vocal coach. I did a fair amount of musical theater back in the early days, and I did have a vocal coach at that time, which basically just means I know enough to get by as an actor. So in this video, I'm going to give you some rudimentary tips, but I highly encourage you to find your own vocal coach to explore this topic further. And let me just say that a vocal coach is not just for singers. You might want a vocal coach just for your speaking voice, especially if you're working on accents or getting rid of an accent. So beyond accents and singing, well, why would you need vocal training at all? Well, in a nutshell, your voice is capable of so much more than what you use it for on a daily basis, namely talking at conversational volume most of the day. Because just like a muscle, if you immediately try to stretch and talk at a very loud volume, like at a concert or a bar, or you are having to be in meetings all day and present in front of a group, so you're talking more than normal, you feel that vocal fatigue, either later that day or the next morning. Heck, I just got done singing 3 hours of Christmas carols. I work as a professional Christmas caroler around the holidays, and I can feel a little bit of that fatigue because, again, even though I've had some training, I am not a vocalist or a professional singer. But here's an interesting factoid. How is it that babies can seem to scream for hours and hours without ever experiencing vocal fatigue? Turns out we're sort of born with proper vocal technique, and then we learn bad habits the rest of our life. Proper vocal technique can not only help with fatigue, but it can also unlock your vocal potential in other ways. Most of that is beyond the scope of this video, so today, instead, I will focus on something you can implement right now, and that is to make sure you're always warming up your vocal instrument before every performance. If you don't take time to warm up your voice, the results can be suboptimal. So I want to cover 2 categories of vocal warm-up that are quick and can give immediate results. The first is fairly obvious, and that is warming up your vocal range. Even though you may not be a singer or you may not be warming up for a singing performance, warming up your voice using musical scales is highly effective at getting your overall voice warm. And for me, there are a couple of vocal warm-ups that I learned well over 15 years ago from my vocal coach that I still use as my go-tos for a quick vocal warm-up. The first sounds like this on a piano. And I do it with these vowels. No, ah. And then you take it down a half step. No, ah. And so forth and so on. No, ah. And you take that down as far as it is comfortable, and maybe even hover down there in that lower end to warm it up, to extend your lower range. You can also use the same progression to warm up your higher register by going from that C to the C sharp. No, ah. No, ah. And so forth and so on. The other warm-up I like to use is a descending progression like this. And I do it on the ya. Ya, 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 ya. Or on a ha. Ha, 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 ha. Just like that first progression, you can use this to warm up your higher or lower register. Since I started pretty high, I would definitely move down from here. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. And so forth and so on. Now here's a little side tip. If you do that last one on the ha, not only will you be warming up your vocal tone, but you'll be engaging your diaphragm in a way that will warm up that muscle as well. And that helps with breath support. Speaking of breath support, one of the major benefits of vocal training is learning good breathing habits. Remember how I said that babies can scream for seemingly hours on end without any effect to their vocal fatigue? Well, for some reason, as we grow up, we learn to breathe wrong. We start to get this notion that deep breathing comes from the shoulders and the chest, when in fact, it comes from the belly. Again, this is beyond the scope of this video, but here's a quick test. Take a really deep breath. Put one arm on a shoulder and one arm on your belly. If your belly isn't moving and your shoulder is, you are breathing very wrong. On the flip side, if your shoulder doesn't move and if your chest doesn't really heave up and down, but your stomach is moving, well, you might be breathing perfect. And like I said before, since I'm not a vocal expert, find someone who is and learn proper breathing from them. But I digress. The other category of warming up your voice is diction. When you're using musical scales or arpeggios to warm up the lower and higher register of your voice, oftentimes you'll be doing it on the same vowel sound. So we need to warm up our jaw, our lips, and our tongue if we want our instrument to be fully tuned. So to do that, you can use some tried and true diction warm-ups like these. Red leather, yellow leather, good blood, bad blood. Say that 5 times fast. No, seriously, I'll wait. Or how about this one? Unique, unite, New York. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. I like that one. But my favorite I learned in musical theater, which is an excerpt from The Mikado, and it goes like this. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock, in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block. And with that one, you can repeat that over and over again, getting faster each time. And it's a great way to warm up your diction because there are so many different consonant sounds in that little excerpt. Now, there are countless other diction warm-ups or tongue twisters that can get your voice ready. Find some of your own. And if you have some already, feel free to drop them in the comments below because I'm always looking for some new ones. And here's a bonus tip. Before even warming up your voice, warm up your body. If you're headed to an audition or a performance on stage or on set and you haven't warmed up your body, ooh, beware. You need to warm up your body and your voice before any performance. And by starting with your body first, you'll make the vocal warm-up go that much more smoothly since everything is connected. In the end, tuning your instrument is something that is fully within your control. So much of this business is full of things that aren't in our control. And so we want you as actors to take ownership of those things that are within your control. Because you don't want to be neglecting your voice for months or years and then finally get that big opportunity where it's a 3-page monologue and let's say it's a TV show or film and you're going to shoot that from multiple angles and end up doing that for hours and probably more than 30 takes once you factor in all those different angles. And if your voice runs out on you partway through, that's a liability. Everyone on set will expect that you can handle this. They're not expecting you to have a lack of preparation or training that will end up compromising the production. Now, everyone has their limits, of course, but if you haven't spent any time investing in vocal training, well, then if that big opportunity comes, it might become a liability for you. And look, I get it. Just sounds like it's one more thing to invest money in that you may or may not see tangible, immediate results. But if you feel yourself going down that path of negative thinking, try replacing it with curiosity. I wonder what my voice would sound up if I really focused on my lower register. How low can you go? Ooh, when I'm down here, it almost sounds like I'm a different character. Interesting. Oh, hear that voice crack? Yeah. I'm not fully warmed up down in that lower register. Shame on you, Matt. Foster that curiosity because it'll get you so much further in this industry than judgment will. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set.